Township of Cohasset, regular monthly meeting, Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All
We're
right,
recording.
Call meeting to order. If everybody can stand for a moment of silence and flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice has been given to the Express Times and the Star Gazette satisfying the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. We have some minutes we need to approve from June 20th. They were circulated via email. Anybody have any issues with the minutes?
No, I just want to comment that they're 17 pages long. Kudos to you, Wanda.
You're welcome.
Jeez, they're great. I move that we approve them.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Steve, you have to abstain. Yep, Gray
Yes.
and Slack.
Yes. Bills, we have a bill list that was circulated, chief?
Oh, yeah, I emailed it out. Oh, shoot, I forgot to make a copy of it.
Not bad. That's all right.
I don't have any questions.
It was like $2 million, 2.5, because the school taxes had to go out and the county taxes and catching up on the escrow too, so.
And we-
Legal, mostly legal. Yeah.
We were current on our school payment.
Yeah, this is the one due, August 1st.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I used to get the call from Diane when they didn't get paid.
Yeah, this one's due August 1st, so.
When did you find time to send this out, with everything going on today?
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so we'll take a motion to pay the bills.
Second. If you made the motion.
I'll make the motion, yeah.
Second.
Okay, Babinski?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. All right, public comments. Any public comments pertaining to agenda items and agenda items only? Seeing none. Kevin, you want to give us a brief rundown on what's going on with your
Real quick, the mayor, myself, and Wayne Ingram just met Mr. Stickle out on Fincher's Point, and I actually have a signed easement here. Yeah, I had to play kind of bad cop. Dave was a good guy, but at the end of the day.
It worked.
It worked, we got it done. It's nice up there, actually. So, I expect, us to go out to bid next month, maybe award in the fall. Probably won't start till next year, I wouldn't imagine, especially with all the other stuff going on. But the good thing, I just want to make sure we get the award, and that saves the grant. We have $500,000 in money. So that's huge.
I mean, the good thing I'll say, for as bad as that looks,
It's gonna be nice.
it'll be nice when it's done, but in the storm that we just had, there was no additional damage, it looked like,
I was
so.
wondering if that would be the case.
No, it's just everywhere else.
Yeah, no, and you're right there, Steve.
Everywhere. Larkin closed. I just talked to Steve Goodwin, the attorney for the RDG boys. They still don't have their county approval, believe it or not. I think, Mayor, you're gonna work on that with the church, but Steve asked if we would consider giving them a zoning permit to get going with site improvements. I said, absolutely, probably, because we want to get that
I mean,
money
that
as fast as
easement,
possible.
they don't really need that until they get a
No,
CO,
no, they don't
right?
need it. So I'm hoping between now and our next meeting, we can get that worked out. They can get a building permit, get a check-in going on that redevelopment, which would be fantastic. Lastly, for my report, everything else I think we're under control. We're going to be working with the Cube Search shortly, try to get that done. I'm actually going to try to get maybe Goin appointed for VOPAT, let them carry the ball on that, so we don't have to pay that. And do a joint together pilot, if it makes sense. Yeah. Lastly, the old EAI project, I just told Steve, he's tired of those guys, do you like some of them? I said, forget RAPs, forget all that, it's not happening. We have enough financial issues, it's not gonna happen.
Which old
The
EA?
old EAI, the one that's never been built in 30
The
years.
200 and something or
But sitting
whatever.
there, sitting there,
290 plus
It's like that.
44.
it's even, yeah, two something.
293
That's the one we had
plus
the meeting in the back.
That's the one I did with, what's his name, in Flemington.
Yeah.
Outside the judge's
With,
chambers.
Ron.
When they
Ron
wanted
Morgan.
800 houses, 880 houses, and
That
we
was the Ron
knocked
Morgan
them
deal.
down. Yeah, no, it wasn't, Ron wasn't involved, they were in there doing,
Well,
jerking
yeah.
off, and,
Right.
they
They're bad.
were.
They're bad.
And Rob Helfgott,
Oh, how- yeah.
and I sat out in the hallway, he says, what would it take? I said, this is what it would take, and he said, we can do that.
Well, they're back.
So what are they at now?
They're back to that. They're
290.
I said, if you want to build, just build what's approved. And that's what they're back to. They said, well, will you give us a pilot? I said, well, it's already approved for redevelopment. If the pilot makes us money, I'm sure we'll give you a pilot. So hopefully that's gonna come around too. I understand the mall, the warehouse was approved at Grandma Farms, the variance.
Wonderful.
My point is like, as these last projects come online, it should really help your guys' bottom line, and it will be at full build out, and we'll be done. We will be done. And that's my goal for you guys, and, we got.
Then you retire?
Then
No
we're
more legal bills?
I'll just show up. But, we got the consent order signed by the judge on, our affordable housing plan for Ingerman. So Ingerman's already applying to the state for their money. The nice thing about I know you weren't big on the warehouse fee, but the one good part of that is, that's gonna have a huge, development fee, like millions, like 2-3 million. I don't know what the final calculation will be for.
Yeah.
That will more than cover what we need to fund that 100% plan easily. And he doesn't need that for 3 years, so that should hopefully match pretty good timing wise. So it's been a rough month. I know Scott, it's been brutal. And I can't believe the layers that we keep on, I just give up. But I think there is a light at the end of this tunnel. I'm very optimistic. Things seem to be.
On the train coming?
I don't think it's a train. I think it's actually the other end of the tunnel that we're gonna see the light. So I think, things are going well. I mean, we're not in the sea of, Ann's amazingly responsive. So it's.
Where do we stand with where do we stand with the adjusting line on the Highlands? For that
September.
acre? We'll know one way or the other
We're having a meeting this month, we should have that. Then it's a fast track for the wastewater management plan amendment. Wayne will have to do that, but the Highlands will pay for that. So you don't have to worry about your engineering budget. So that's gonna happen too. By the time they're approved by the state for their financing, Ingerman, we'll be in.
We'll be up to speed.
Yeah, we'll be up to speed. That project's gonna happen way quicker than I thought. Oh, and the other thing I want to let you guys know, they don't need to go through the park for the water line. They're going to Aqua instead of Alpha Water, so we don't need all that State House Commission approval nonsense. So that's what I'm saying. Things, like a few months ago that looked like long-term, geez, we got some, not intractable, but long-term problems, we're kind of working out. So I'm pretty optimistic.
Well, finally, you know,
Yeah, you need it. There we go, that's my report.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Engineers report, Wayne had submitted one. Everybody probably had a chance to review it. We just met with Wayne, like Kevin said, out at the site. As everybody's aware, there was a lot of damage done around the township. Wayne's going around and giving us assessments on things. They're gonna write up whatever we need, correct?
Yeah.
All right,
Except for the couple of things that I told him I could do, because it's easy. It's, all they want is estimates, right?
Chief, I just got a text from Doug Steinhardt with some info for Warren County residents. Want me to text forward this to you by text?
Yeah, sure.
It's a special website, I guess, they set up for Warren County specifically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll send this to you right now.
All right, I'll post it.
Well, I hope it's about
And
the
then you can
road
report it.
openings and all that,
Yeah,
because
and
I
then-
texted Kern this morning, you don't know where you can go.
I'll send this to the chief right now.
For what? Go where?
There's 7 bridges out in the county. I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to go to Milford, Pennsylvania tomorrow morning. I don't know how I'm gonna get up there. I usually take 521, what's open, what's closed, and I went to the county
611 is
website.
closed all along the river.
So it's pieces of 521, the bridges are out.
I just sent it to you.
I forwarded it to you too. I'm trying to at least, and if it goes.
Great. Let's see, I'm trying to find the engineer's report. I had a question about, what he was talking about. There was some sort of thing we need to get in compliance with.
I'm taking care of that. That's stormwater stuff.
Yes,
You'll have those ordinances next month.
yeah, but I think you want me to appoint somebody too? Maybe I just didn't read it carefully enough.
Well, just an enforcement person, which, I mean, they give you these ordinances. I don't really know who's gonna enforce these in small towns, but we'll pick somebody.
Yeah, well, he sent us that report, and there were things we weren't in compliance with, and I thought,
Well,
oh,
there's a lot of TRA stuff around. That's a long-term issue. I also believe, and Scott, I don't know if you heard anything about this, but I think even though we're existing Tier A, I think we're gonna get some grant money for further compliance. That's what I
The
feel.
stormwater?
Yeah,
Didn't we
like 25 or something maybe one, did we get any
No,
grant money?
it was small. No, that was a lead-based, never mind.
That base you're saying of
Yeah.
4,500.
I know everybody who got bumped up to Tier A got 25 already and they're getting another 50. But I hear that existing Tier A's are now complaining, because again, we've been Tier A forever, we can't comply either because it's expensive. So I hear we may be getting some grant. Wayne, I'm sure will let us know if that happens.
I think I had questions also about some of the regulations involving improvements on homes that are in floodplains, what you can do, what you can't do.
That's the ordinance we had to do a year ago. I promise to follow up on that. I'll make a note. Yeah, I'll coordinate with Wayne and meet some, that we had to do last year. But I'll get you answers as to what's going on.
Because it's talking about
Yeah.
getting permits even for interior work.
I'll get you a memo on it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, we'll start with council reports. We'll start with Steve.
Do I have one, Liz?
No, the road department's been busy. They haven't been able to do a
Okay.
DPW report, but I think you can guess what they've been
Yeah,
doing.
they've been
They've been busy.
slacking off, yeah,
Yep,
sleeping on.
they were
the job.
just sitting
They
around.
were out, I'll tell you, they were out at 7:15 Sunday morning to talk to Jeff and the
Yeah.
guys Sunday morning down at Palaca when they closed off, Creek Road, because that was underwater. That was 4:07 on Sunday morning.
Jeff saw us.
Yeah, so they were out all day Sunday, I would assume.
He's great.
So that's, I don't have anything.
All right. Ingrid, I saw you forwarded a Board of Health report to everybody, I
I
saw.
did, yeah. There's a lot of repeat stuff on that. If you notice, the report's undated.
They don't
There's a
do
lot
any
of,
follow-up, just unchanged.
yeah. But regarding that health department report, back in June, I think I reported at council that there were some complaints from neighbors. They saw a lot of stuff being brought up to the old rat pallet place.
Yes, and they followed up on
And
that.
the health department followed up on it.
Yes.
And Tom Migro sent me a letter saying he sanded it because he was the hazardous waste person who was complaints about tires. And the new owner said, we're just gonna put our farm equipment there. Well, then he had a huge fire there.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it turns out,
They were subleasing the barn to contractor.
yes. So I had a lot of questions about that. Like, for, number one, it was a wrapped pallet business. Now, this person buys it and says, I'm gonna store farm equipment. Should that have come before the land use board or change of use? B, if this person
It's a
had-
permanently preserved farm already, I think, Ingrid, so I don't know if they'd have to come before the board or not. Kevin, would you know or not?
That was a business.
It was a
On preserved
commercial.
farm?
Yeah, it was probably in an exception area.
Typically, if it's a permitted use, and they should change to another permitted use, if it's commercial like that, typically, our ordinance would require minor site plan, although they have a waiver provision in there, we can either apply for a waiver or minors. Yeah, so something should happen. You just can't change the use because there could be different lighting, parking, those kinds of requirements. So yes, typically that would implicate some type of land use approval or a waiver.
So then, how about I got a letter from Tom Migro from the health department, he examined it, and he said, this farmer says this is what he's doing, and then he subleases it. And then we have this fire as a result of what that subleasee is storing in the building where lithium-ion batteries came in contact with extreme amounts of water. This is like 2 heavy rainfalls though, and that's what sparked this fire. Fortunately, we had rain after that tremendous drought we had to the mountainside that kept on fire. That could have been really bad.
I mean, it sounds like what you're saying, Ingrid, that's something that should go before the land use board, or at least get thrown to the zoning officer.
I referred it to the zoning officer,
Okay?
but he needs to research it. Because I asked him those 2 questions.
And a neighbor there had called me and said they were storing asphalt and other things there. He wanted to know if that was appropriate. I don't know if it's true.
They took millings up to fix the road
Yeah, I was
one,
gonna say,
and that's,
that would be okay.
Yeah, but I don't know, but they said they were storing, asphalt there and what's going on.
It seems kind of funny, the person that's renting is an excavator as well, so I guess we gotta kind of play devil's advocate, but the excavator works for our town a lot, so we kind of need to, yeah.
All right. I was in touch with Eric Stoddard with the DOT, and the railroad crossing funding is still stuck in that one department. I had a meeting Thursday with the Lower Delaware.
Is that a state thing, Ingrid?
Steinberg help us with
I was gonna say, why don't we talk to Doug?
Well, yeah, I thought about reaching,
Oh, I know.
I thought about reaching out, but now we have all this storm damage stuff he's going around for.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's gonna take priority over this stuff, the piddly stuff compared to that.
And the railroad, not only that, you might have heard that it's compromised now.
Right, I've heard that.
Doing the first crossing past the factory, we were told that we're all over, the Google Bank lost the way, and we're doing maintenance. Yeah. So that's why I'm not pushing it on this before we want it, alright? The Lower Delaware, we were gonna do the resolution at the next meeting, you said, because we don't have a full.
Yeah, that was fun.
And Kevin looked over the changes that Kara sent out, and he has no problem with these, so.
Okay,
The Solid Waste Advisory Committee sent out a recycling report to the county, and it's kind of interesting to look at the recycling figures. I don't know how they figure out, how recycling is improved or not with the way the garbage companies come and dump everything in, but they must have a system. Lastly, I sent, I attended the municipal cannabis meeting, and they offered this meeting, and they put counties together. So the one I attended was Warren, Sussex, and Hunterdon. That was last Thursday. I sent you the slideshow, and you can send it out to them.
I thought I did.
Oh, you did? Well, okay. And it was very interesting, and most interesting were the follow-up questions, and I sent you a question on this. One of the municipal officials said that it would be a good idea to include in the approval to have a facility in the township, a requirement that the business undergo a forensic accounting annually that they pay for, because we want to make sure that the township, the municipality is getting the revenues that we should. So I asked in my email to you if you ever dealt with any townships that had included that in their cannabis ordinance. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's a good idea. The 2%, obviously, it's just like a redevelopment fee, that always gets audited, or anything like that, that's kind of unusual. Obviously, we have to have the backup. I don't know if you have to do it by ordinance, or you can just go to Jen or assessor to request that. I'll look into that. I don't know if
Well, I
I've
thought it
seen
was an
that.
interesting
Yeah, I know,
point, because, you could be missing millions, and how would you
Yeah.
know? And
yeah,
there's-
if you just get a check and you don't know what it is.
there were a lot of questions about how the treasury handles the money, how can they determine what the business's actual revenues were, and the state official said, well, they have to follow the laws, they know, and they do get penalties, but, there's ways to get around things.
But they have to pay sales tax to the state,
Mhm.
so I'm assuming those revenues would be the same that our 2% is based on. So that's what I was kind of thinking, that's kind of
right, if you audit whatever they report to
Yeah.
the state.
It's hard to fudge the sales.
hard,
tax.
it's hard to fudge sales tax, because especially everybody plays with plastic.
Yeah, or you can put a clause in the ordinance that just says,
Yeah.
if it's suspicion
Yeah.
that we have the right to,
Yeah.
Audit,
well, on their dime.
Yes, so I thought that was an interesting point that
Yeah,
we might
no,
consider.
that's a great
Do
idea.
people pay cash when they go in?
I don't know, I
a
guess.
lot of
Because they-
places won't take cash.
Yeah, I know,
All the big-
because cash disappears.
Venues, like the sports venues and concerts,
Yeah,
they only take credit
you
cards.
can't even, when you go in, you can't even buy a drink or anything inside, a soda or anything without a
Nope.
credit card.
I can tell you, we're having the opposite problem in Frankfurt Township on Sussex County, because 206 goes right through there, right before Jervis. Huge thoroughfare in the summer. Well, they have this bud bus. It's like a food truck. It pulls in, to a flea market up there. The guy gives away the marijuana with a pack of gum that happens to cost $85. Chief, I'm telling you, you'll be shocked.
I bet you I know who it is.
I don't know who the, but I have the name
Yeah.
somewhere.
But-
Well, I've been down to the
I think
AG's
it's from
office,
Goldsboro.
the AG's office, all, it's like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
That, well, but you gotta think about it though.
They're not getting any revenue out of that, you would think they would care.
Right, but they took all hands off of us too on anything with marijuana. Like you can't do anything with it.
I had one AG client, and she's a nice woman, trying to be helpful. She does mostly alcohol stuff. She said, "Oh, call the county prosecutor, maybe they can issue a nuisance
Yeah.
charge. I'm like,
That's
I mean,
a slap
after
in the
passing
wrist.
this, well, you pass a statute, a legislation that's extremely detailed, to be a licensed retailer is all this money, all this stuff, and here the guy jumps in a bus, buys the pot out of the back of somewhere, who knows where to get it. I understand he's making like $10,000 a day,
I can only imagine.
a day.
Well, somebody-
Nobody will shut them down. They're basically saying Frankfurt, so my ordinance, just like ours says, if you look at our ordinance, we did the same one. No gifting. They're basically saying, well, frankly, you file an order to show cause and get an injunction on your ordinance as a municipal ordinance violation. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I give up. It's like, I don't know. I give up.
That's interesting.
Creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't care.
Anything else, Ingrid? All right, as far as my report, I was out Sunday morning down at the firehouse. As everybody is aware, we had a couple feet of water down there. It was a real mess. But as fast as it come up, it went down. I'm gonna look into seeing if anything can be done with a Lopakon Creek right there at the bridge. Try to lower the water level underneath. I don't know if we'll get anywhere, but it'd be worth looking into.
Did any of the fire trucks get damaged? Because I saw this,
They got them out just in time.
I was sent that picture of that flooding, and it was just unbelievable. The person sent it to me and said, "You know where this is?" And I'm like, "No." I didn't recognize it. Everything was underwater.
Yeah, no, as far as I know, they got all the trucks out. It was just water in the, building.
Yeah, there was a big
Did you
storm
see
when
that?
I was in there, same deal. They
Yeah.
had that kind of water in there.
But we got all kinds of water in the
Hard to
playground.
imagine it gets up that high, up that driveway and everything.
Now, it's hard to believe, huh,
Yeah,
Steve?
it's just- Yeah, it blows my mind.
But like I said, if there was more clearance under that bridge, I think it would help, but trying to get a permit from DEP to dredge that out is probably my son will have a better chance than I will. You know, that's how long it'll take, but we'll see. There's a couple structures around, Edge Road's closed, Snyder's Road is gonna be open to truck traffic only tomorrow. Any other roads?
No, those are the only two closures.
I mean, we were fortunate compared to some of the other communities around us. As bad as it was for us, we don't have anything nowhere near like the pictures Kevin was showing.
I would have gone. Billboards.
Route 46 is.
46, and, yeah.
Harmony Grass
Is the, is the height of this room filled with
Grass
one
patch
rock?
closed. Wilmington Glen, they're just gone. Not mine, gone.
So I guess count our blessings that, you know, we got what we got, and that's all we got.
Yeah, good for you guys.
As Kevin said, we were out tonight to see Mr. Stickle down on Pinter's Point, and we were able to secure
Yeah.
the last easement, signature so we can start that stabilization project there. That's been 3 years in the making. Other than that, Senator Steinhardt, like they had said, sent around a link for anybody for storm damage reports. The governor did declare a statewide emergency, so some of this money we ought to be getting reimbursed from FEMA that we're spending, hopefully. Other than that, anything else, Chief, I should touch on?
It's just, well, the FEMA, we'll know Friday as for FEMA, because the threshold is 16 million for the county. At my 5 o'clock meeting today, or call today with OEM around the county, will definitely be at 16 plus.
I was gonna say a couple townships probably had that much damage.
Yeah, so, I mean, our 2 roadways alone that were there were over 2 million just on that. on those two, on Snyder's and Edge. So I mean, and everybody else got crushed a lot worse than we did. So once they know that, I went out Tuesday with the state officials around town, showing them all the damage, taking all the pictures.
They opened the bridge back up there for the fire company?
Yeah, Tuesday mid-morning, we opened it back up after they did a second inspection on it. That was able to be opened.
Today is Tuesday, so you did it today?
What is today?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, I'm off a little bit on my days. I was out all day Sunday too, so. Yeah, so yesterday I went with them and we did that. And, we also had damage on Winters Road, that needs to be addressed near number 5. It looked like a possible sinkhole there. The road got real soft on the, water coming in off, between, Jim Piper's house and number 5, it came off the hill. And
You know, number 5 is across from the Grisville.
yeah, so the edge of the driveway there had some, was buckled up a little bit at number 5, so Wayne's giving us a price on that. We had, Sinclair Avenue, at the, storm drain, we have a large sinkhole there on Mr. Housel's property. That one, we're gonna be, we have, you know, we're responsible for fixing that because it, you know, of the way it came. Mr. Flynn next door, he had about 5 foot of water in his basement from that. There was a large tree that came down and then blocked the drainage pipe. So, you know, that, with all the water, that didn't help it. This tree, you know, it's still in there, and we gotta try to get that out, so that we don't have that in the future. But it's a pretty large tree, and the other half's just about to come down too as well. It's a little bit up the creek, you know, on the drainage creek. We had about, I wanna say 30 houses that, the fire department had to pump out for basement damage. So I put out, on Facebook for everybody to contact me, you know, and what I'm doing is calling everybody, getting an estimate so we can add that to, yeah, there's two sections to it. There's the IA, which is the individual assessment, and then the public assessment. So the public assessment would be anything that we have, township-wide that we're responsible for, and the IA would be individual assessment for anybody's houses. So, as part of that, I had those links that you sent me just now. That's part of it too, is what to do with IA for individuals. It just helps the residents know if we qualify for FEMA, what the process is, how we do it, and where they need to go, and it takes them step by step and guides them. Because if they're IA on their own, once it's declared, we don't file for them. We only file for anything township-wide. That's it. Like even if the school was damaged, we don't do them because they own their own, they're their own entity. For instance, the firehouse. That one is a little, it's twofold. One, if FEMA qualifies and we can make it, they have to do something and put it in for the building damage and basically the bar damage,
Social club.
the social club. I'm going out tomorrow with our insurance adjuster for the town to meet with them, and any equipment that we purchased for the fire department as gear or equipment, we can claim under our insurance company that way. We're gonna do the park as well. I'm meeting them down there at 9 tomorrow morning, and then we can do the field house for the rec and the concession stand, which was about 4 foot underwater as well. So the fence around Huntington, we fixed it, now it's all down again. So that, you know, obviously that's gonna have to be part of the claim as well for that. But otherwise, we don't have any other, like, we can't claim, through our insurance, we can't claim the sinkholes and stuff like that, but hopefully we can through FEMA. I already talked to Ann, she's going to do, an emergency ordinance, as needed, so that we can utilize, funding to, pay for anything that we have to. But we have been working with, the quarry. They've been very helpful. They're really only gonna charge us delivery. If we need material, they said they're gonna give us the material just to help us through everything on stuff that we need. So that's a plus. But Yeah, so I have to have the estimates in by Friday, and then if we qualify, then I gotta do all the paperwork to get everything, down to the dime of overtime, trucks, everything used, and do it that way, so.
Chief, is Donnie Bruce still around?
Is he still around?
Donnie around?
Yeah, he's still
No,
around.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you got with all the hats you have. I just was thinking Donnie used to do this stuff all the time. I wonder if you need help, we could maybe bring him in a little bit to help you with paperwork. 'Cause
He's
did a
not
lot of
really
that.
capable of it.
No, he's not, and yeah,
Fortunately. And plus I have two other
Oh, did you?
assistants.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
like Mike Cozy is an assistant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Nick Osborne is another assistant, because all of the guys that used to be, they all retired, they couldn't do it anymore. So then the three of us now are doing it.
Ah, okay, we covered that. Great.
In reality, all the years I've been here, it's been worse. I've seen the Delaware, all Carpentersville underwater, and the Musconetcong never came up on this storm.
No.
That end of town never,
River.
because
never came
usually
up.
we're underwater in Finesville. Last year we had 2 inches of water in the
Yeah.
first floor.
Yeah, we got, I
Nothing.
think, they said it was 12 inches of water in 18 hours
Mm-hmm.
that we got in these storms.
So it was really localized right
Yeah.
over that.
Correct. And more was a low-pack concrete.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
it, coming
small
from,
tributary.
yep,
Yeah.
and that was it. Otherwise, the Muskie didn't come up.
No.
We didn't even have to close Municipal Drive on Sunday,
Right.
at the tunnel. Ravine Road was closed at the, for a little while, only on the Greenwich side.
Mhm.
It didn't even come up into the tunnel at all.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, Creek Road was, for a little while.
Yeah, it was over the water.
And then we had several sections of River Road closed, but that was only because trees went down with telephone poles, so we
Mhm.
lost electricity. And then once they got that up, really the only washout for River Road was the one section of the railroad, right near where Ingrid was talking about earlier. So we notified, Chris Cotty, and there was he actually fell in the hole, and it was 5 foot deep. When he came out, he thought it was just a small puddle,
Mhm.
and he took a step and he went down. Yeah, he was all right, thank God, so we made them close the railroad down. As OEM, I said they can't utilize it until that's fixed and
Mhm.
inspected the proper way, so they're not gonna be running trains until that's fixed. And I'm sure they're gonna have it up ASAP, but that's closed down as well.
Yeah.
All right, two last things, Chief. Where do we stand on the sports fields at the school?
I worked five. Oh, yeah, I just clarified that.
Those
There
2
were-
pages.
Yeah, 2 pages, I told them if they're not out, they're not part of the bid, so.
Correct.
Yeah, the grades start, did they start?
No.
Did
We didn't have a construction meeting yet. So the only good thing is that their date to end was June 15th.
Which has passed.
Right, so the contract says $250 fine per day. Anything past
So in
their,
other words, the ticker's ticking,
since June 15th, they owe us $250 a day,
okay?
on anything that's there under contract. So I was talking the other day to Councilman Stillo, and I said, it's even, if they owe us $250 a day, and, hey, we want electric ran, or we want water, I'm sure at that point, instead of, they already got their crews there, I'm sure we
Right, we
can,
can borrow.
yeah, order something instead of saying, we'll take the cash, we'll just get another project.
I mean, do we feel like they're gonna start or
They
actually?
will.
They're gonna
Yeah.
start.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it's just, I honestly, I think they just,
I think they bumped us
did
down
too
the
many
list.
projects.
Yeah, they
And
bumped
we're a
us down.
small project to them, so they're finding everything possible to
Slow it down.
question,
Yeah.
to stall. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. And then the other one, I'm sure this is the next one on your list, is the pickleball.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that
Oh,
one.
we
went-
talked about that.
Okay, yeah. So, we had emails, from, the engineer's office. I thought Wayne was doing it, but he's not. It's still under his old firm that's doing the bid.
So we gotta go to ELP.
Yeah, which I did.
Ed
It's the
Conver.
yeah, he's the same guy. Ed's doing that one too. But he sent the stuff out, the other day, which I didn't see it because he didn't send it to me, but I think he sent something to, an email to you.
Right.
But it was too late to get on the agenda today, so we'll have it for the next agenda.
I asked him
Correct?
about that.
Well, remember, at the last meeting, we talked about putting it out to bid dependent upon what Wayne provided as an estimate, because we wanted to make sure we had the funding
Yep, I did.
before. So we got this quote. Is this enough?
Yeah, so I emailed all of them and told them what funding we had, and told them that we're not putting it out to bid unless you can tell us that we're gonna fit the threshold that we have. And they came back and said, yep, you'll be good. If
Okay.
not, if there's anything over when it comes back, we will drop phase 2, which was walkways, which was like 46,000, that they put in. So we can drop the walkways because it's not necessary under what Green Acres is saying. And then that gives us a $46,000, buffer, to get the main project completed.
Okay. Now, my last question was the heating system.
Yep, so they came almost 2 weeks ago and started demo.
Okay?
They were up in the attic ripping out insulation, one day. The only thing we're waiting on now is the equipment. That's it.
Any kind of ETA?
They gave an estimated time. They said they'll be done by October.
Okay.
So, that's they, in our construction meeting, that's what he said. He goes, nope, absolutely by October, you'll be back up and running.
Okay.
Just not for cool weather, we don't need
Yep,
it.
yeah.
No, we need heat too.
Oh, and by the way, just on that, the reason why ELP is still doing something, because I saw that, like, wait, I thought we were not doing this stuff, I was confused. And he said that it's actually cost savings for you guys, because Ed had already started that. So he said for me to do it all over again at my new firm, just so you
Right.
guys- so that's really being efficient for you guys, keeping it over.
Is that something that you want to consider, like setting a bid date and adding it as a motion, or do you want to wait
Yeah,
till
can we?
the? I
Yeah, because
don't,
whatever he gave you is what we're good with.
we are good with
Yep, with the price.
185?
Well, we
Huh?
could-
185?
Yep, that's what he told me in an email.
Okay, so authorize ELP,
Yeah, and I think the last email was he was asking for what we would put on a bid date,
yeah,
right? And something else, right?
I think it was just bid date.
Okay.
Well, to approve the bid specs, Kevin, do you want to review them first?
Not Wayne and ELP are doing,
Did they both
they do
review?
those like the back of their hands.
Okay, so to authorize us to go out to bid for Vangelli Park improvements. And what date do we want to set the bid? Do you want to do it, can we do it before the August 15th meeting, so maybe we could award then?
That's good.
Or is that too
Yeah,
tight?
it's gonna be- Yeah, why don't we do September? No, I'm
Okay.
saying for the September meeting, we'll, meeting will be.
All right, so do we,
But if we put it out, right, we don't have to do the bid opening here at a meeting.
no, we usually,
You can set a date.
usually the engineer comes and meets with all the potential contractors. Yeah,
Right.
and then you open the bids and read them, and then we send them to Kevin or Wayne, maybe in this case, to review, and then we award.
Well, I'll review at the end, just to make sure they have a bid.
What's the third Tuesday in September? September,
Why don't you do it the Tuesday before for the
Yeah.
opening, then we'll be able to make
Then we
the
can
award at that meeting.
And award at the meeting.
well, you have to be careful, because
Or whatever.
never on a Monday and not the Tuesday if the Monday's a
I
holiday.
mean, it's anytime that week before our meeting, have the open. That way we're ready to make the award.
The third Tuesday's our meeting.
Is the 19th of September.
Okay, so the 12th would be okay.
Yes.
Keep in mind, I'll be in California the August meeting.
Yeah, so if we do
Well,
September,
that would be September, so you'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
so if we do September 12th,
That's what it is, what are you doing?
I'll say September 12th bid opening.
yeah, and can we do the same thing for, Pinterest Point?
We're done.
Right?
Do we have to authorize that, or is it just to go? Kevin, Pinter's Point, do we have to authorize that to go to bid,
I
or,
was just kind of, let the chief, let's throw that on too,
Yeah.
same time frame.
Yeah, we could do the bid, we could stagger the
Yeah.
bid openings like hour by
10 or
hour.
11 or
Right.
10 and 12, whatever.
Yep.
That way,
And then that way.
ELP can be here for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, last time they didn't even come. They let me and Wanda open it.
You can do that, but if there's any questions or issues.
Well, we just,
Well,
there was a couple questions.
Questions or issues, didn't come to the public meeting.
Yeah.
You can work.
Yep. And we let
By the way,
everybody
they're
take
allowed to have
copies.
copies, if anybody gives you a hard time, they can have copies of other bids.
Yeah, we did last time. We let them look at everything and take their
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
and-
Right. So-
okay, so you and I will work and figure out what time we want to do each one, we'll talk with,
Wanda, I think Wayne's new firm is doing Pinterest Point though, right? So that will.
Yeah, because they started.
Yeah, that'll be Wayne.
no, Wayne's old firm did Pinter's
Zoll
Point.
firm did that.
So is ELP doing both then?
Yeah, so what Wayne's told me is all those projects, they will put the bid stuff together.
ELP,
And then once it's awarded,
then he'll.
he'll do the inspection
Okay.
and supervise.
So it's motions on both that authorize ELP to go out to bid. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense.
Okay,
All right, that's good for council reports. Brody, you want to give us a rundown on what's going on with the emergency squad?
Sure. Hi, everyone, Brody, the Deputy Chief of Coastal Emergency Squad. We'll be trying to get to every township's council meeting they have, just so you guys have a point of contact in case you guys have questions or anything like that. All I have for you guys right now is just what you have, your call volume last month and your call volume currently. Your call volume last month was 31, and currently you guys are at 25 for this month. So it looks like you guys are averaging about 30 calls at least.
Call a day,
Sorry?
call a day.
I don't have, but I can break it down to the specifics of how many calls you guys get.
Well, if you're saying 30 in a month, that's a call a day.
Oh, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so you guys, yeah, about a call a day, the average. You're averaging about 30 calls a month. You guys usually get about 400 a year, so that makes sense of doing 30 a month or around like 120-ish. When we get to the winter, call volume usually goes up because that's when your sick people get even more sick. So you're about hitting that average month right now. But I want to keep coming here, so you guys have any questions or concerns or anything, you have a point of contact to. Obviously, I can give you guys my email and contact information.
You got a card, Brody, or not?
I'm in the process. Ever since I got this position, I was like, hey, I should get a card. So I pushed it up so I can, we fund that needed a card.
Swift Print in Bellevue, it's great cards.
What was that, sir?
Swift Print in Bellevue.
Swift Print?
Unique place.
She worked or get the newest thing on your phone, it's a QR code,
Yeah.
and they scan it, and then they have your contact right in your phone.
It's like an app.
Huh?
Is it like an app?
Well, there's websites, you can go on it yourself and do it, and my guys are starting to do it downstairs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it works for
Do you have cards for old people like me though?
Yes, we have cards. Yes.
Well, I'm like, I don't do that.
How about older people? Anybody have
I'm
any
older.
questions for Mr. Older than Brody? me. Thanks for coming, Brody. All right, moving on, we have two resolutions. Anybody have any questions about the resolutions? If not, I'll move both of them forward.
And I'll second that.
Okay, Babinski? Gray?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. Ordinances for first or second, we have nothing. We have two motions, and we're gonna add, what, two more motions?
Right.
Pinter's Point and.
And Vangelli Park,
Vangelli
just at the
Park.
September 12th bid date with the LP.
So I'll move all four motions forward. Second.
Okay, Babinski? Gray?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. All right, registrar's appointment of a deputy registrar, Noel, or court clerk. Do we need a motion on that, or is that?
No, it's just my appointment. I just like to document and make you aware of it because I'm required by law to have a deputy. And since Barbara left, I don't have one. So even though Noel's not over there yet, she's got to be my girl.
Okay. Where do we stand, chief, on interviewing for the court clerk?
We did, and we haven't heard back from her.
She
Oh,
called
no.
me this afternoon.
Oh, did she?
She emailed and said, I know that Administrator Rob wanted me to respond by Friday, but I just wanted to talk to you. Is there any wiggle room? Because 30,000 is just entirely too low of a salary. Because she's currently making 19 something an hour, and this would be less than 16, like 15.48. And I said, I
What do we
didn't.
gotta do, chief?
Honestly, what we are paying is very cheap.
It's ridiculously.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I don't see any issue with that going up to 18, 19 an hour to be competitive with other places.
Yeah, because
Yeah, and if you like her,
Yeah, I mean,
then you're gonna have to pay to.
right. So, I mean, I don't see any, I mean, we have the funding in that, in the salaries and wages,
So
so.
Greenwich will pick up their apartment and
Correct.
up.
Right.
We'll pick up half.
Right, so if we go up to 19, it's a $3 or $2 and some odd cent, because I think we said it was like 16.48 an hour, if you break the hours down to the salary or something like that.
I wasn't sure if it was 16.48 or 15.48, but see, the thing too is, our current violations clerk doesn't take health insurance. This person would need to take health insurance, and then she has that employee contribution, which lowers her salary
Yeah.
even more.
Go on, make a motion, authorize the chief to go to 19 an hour in the office.
You know, because that is the salary like that my assistant was getting per hour, or Tiffany was getting per hour. That's bare minimum, like you can't even get that anymore.
With Noel, though, as far as what she was making.
Well, I mean, if she's only there, then we, I would just ask if you're authorized to look to make it fair across the board. You know what I mean? To see, you know what I mean? So we can sit and gauge, because I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me, but if that is the case, it's, I just
Well, and
think.
that's the law too, you have to equal pay for equal jobs.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
kinda gotta, you would have to
Right,
balance.
and like, yeah, if we can sort of balance Noel's out and maybe some of the prior longstanding employees who had started at 10 and haven't advanced all that much, maybe, if it's possible, I don't know what the budget
So
really looks
we-
like
We can, with.
for the court.
With the court. So in my recommendation, we give Chris the raise that I put in the budget for everybody, plus a $2,500 bump, because that's what we gave everybody else for the most part, on, like, with the bumps this year. Just because, when you look at the totality of everything, we're not paying anyone near what other townships are paying, and we're asking them to do a lot of work, and they do a really, really good job. And I just think that's fair. And then I think that we should make it, if we're gonna bump a brand-new person up to 19 to meet her needs and cost of living, then I think that we have to, maybe authorize to go up, at least the same dollar amount, maybe, per hour. Like if this is $2.65, allow that to go to like Noel too. On top of the two, I forget the percentage we gave everybody this year, or we're proposing for everybody this year, but it's there for the court.
Yeah, and if you like, Bill's story, what you pay for, and these are good people that are trained and everything. I can't get summer help.
Yeah. Emotional, wherever the chief said.
Do you think that's gonna get it for her then, Wanda?
I
If we
think,
close the gap?
I think it may, because she said
Michelle?
law and the court is her passion. She's currently working in a dental office. This is her passion. And she said to me, I'd love to take it. But right now, my situation, I can't afford that much of a
Younger
pay
gal we're
cut.
gonna have for a while?
Yeah, and the thing is too, I think the good part that we heard was that, she comes to Pohat every day anyway, and then goes all the way to Clinton to work because her child care's here. So she's already vested here, it'll make life easier.
Mhm.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Do it. I mean, we gotta keep our health.
Yeah.
Wanda voted.
You know how hard it is to get help? It's
Yeah.
like impossible. So I seconded it,
Okay, and I say Babinski,
yes.
Gray,
Yep.
and Slack. And that's for all 5 motions.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, public comments. Seeing we have no public other than Mr. Brody, we'll
You can't stand the heat.
skip that. Anybody have anything else that needs to be brought tonight?
I just wondered regarding the, lawsuit,
Huh?
what, any updates on that?
It's still, he has to go for something, at the end of this month, and then I'll know more, so I'll know more in August.
Any other business?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could, I had one officer leave, and I know that, and I know months ago you guys said I could, start the process. So we went through the interview process, and we had, one, resident, that, we're happy with, young kid. His name is Justin Horvath.
Okay.
He lives on Marsh Boulevard, 22-year-old kid, but for 22, he's very mature.
What are you looking for, chief? You wanna,
Well, one, he has to, I need permission to be able to send him for his physical and the psychological in order to even see if he qualifies for the academy. And if he qualifies, then I would like to offer him, employment at the starting rate with the police department, so that we can, get Norda's position filled and we're back to, because right now we also have another officer who is out on workman's comp.
Fine.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he's ever coming back. It doesn't,
is he 50?
no, he's younger, I'm 48, he's younger than me.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but he has, it's pretty severe with the neck and the back, so we, we're optimistic, we're hopeful, but, he's not. And I don't know where that's gonna lead. So. But, yeah, and then, I also would like to see if I can have permission to send a second person for testing. It's not gonna cost us a lot. I have the money in my budget. Doesn't mean the second person for hiring, but there's a situation that, I was brought to my attention today that, we might need to hire another person soon. So I really can't dive into it too more than that, but, if I could just at least send our second candidate for testing as well.
Send them for testing, but that's it.
Yeah. Because I don't have anything concrete on the possibility, but the problem is if I don't send him now, that, I have to send them July, August, or else they will not be able to get to the academy in October, which it starts in October. So like the hire date wouldn't be until October anyway, but in order for me to get the process rolling, I have to have them go July, it's late July to beginning of August to do all the testing.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Okay, who wants to make the motion? Mayor?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Babinski?
Yes.
Gray?
Yes.
Slack?
Yes. Any other business? Hearing none?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.